Hey guys, Kirk Pugh here with KBT Realty Group, Keller Williams in Wilmington, North Carolina. 2020 is in hindsight. It has caused me to lose all of the rest of the hair that I had. And we are now 8 days into 2021 and it has started with a bang. So, and my marketing director asked me to put together a short video sort of to recap 2020. I think 2020 was a challenging year for everybody on a lot of different levels. Real estate, not one of them for us. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about numbers and success and patting ourselves on the back. Suffice it to say that Wilmington, North Carolina is an extremely fast-paced, fast-growing market. Extremely beneficial for sellers right now. A phrase that I heard yesterday, because a challenge we face in the market, certainly we can sell a house for top dollar in Wilmington today. The challenge is, where does that seller go? And are they trading laterally? Are they downsizing either from a size standpoint, a location standpoint, or from a pricing standpoint? So somebody said yesterday on a mastermind that I was on, said, is for sellers today making a decision about selling, is the value of the sale great enough to buy you out of the pain in the neck factor of having to sell and move, even if you don't have a place to go right now? And so I think that's going to be our challenge going forward into 2021. We may not have a place for you to go just yet. So is the reward for selling today great enough to cause you to sell and maybe even rent temporarily until we can build, buy, or find you a house to move into? I think that's going to be interesting in the coming months. Mortgage credit availability is still very, very, very tight, meaning you better be qualified if you're going to try and get a mortgage today, because the banks are being very careful about who they lend to. The number of people, I think it was Universal Van Lines, came out with a study they've been doing every year for the last 30 years. Wilmington is the #1 destination in the country for people moving, incoming residents. Anecdotally, what we're seeing traditionally, most of our incoming customer base, we started about Quantico, Virginia, worked up the East Coast through Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Vermont. That was the vast majority of where our incoming traffic was. But I think there are some interesting things, some interesting dynamics in the country today. I think people, as a result of COVID, have had it with high density living. And so now when our phone rings, it might be Chicago, it might be Dallas, it might be San Francisco. Just about everywhere in the country, we have people inquiring, what does it feel like to live at the beach? Another interesting phenomenon, we'll see whether or not it is temporary or perhaps permanent, is, and I can think of two close friends that I socialized with and played tennis and pickleball with. One young lady worked at the corporate headquarters for TGX in Boston. Their company has said, go home, work remotely, and if you need office furniture, we'll ship you your desk because we ain't coming back, right? And another working out of the DC area, sort of similar situation. And I think companies have found over the last 8 months that their staff and their companies can be just as effective, just as productive at a lesser cost working remotely as they can working from a big skyscraper in a big city somewhere. What's interesting to me, and I haven't really read anything about this, but I'm wondering, if you work for Google in Austin or in California, and Google says, or Facebook, and Facebook says, go home, work remotely, and you can do that forever if you want, and you're relocating from the Bay Area to Ohio, or hopefully North Carolina, are you still making West Coast money living in mom and dad's bonus room? I think there are going to be a lot of affluent people, young people particularly, who are making Manhattan, Chicago, San Francisco, LA money, living back in North Carolina and making a killing. So interesting things to think about. What's going to happen with all those salaries for people who are now working remotely? Do they get to keep them? Don't know. Mortgage rates historically low again. Yesterday saw rates getting locked in at 2.36% for 30-year fixed rate mortgages. Inventory supply is non-existent. We listed a house yesterday, had an above asking price offer on it by last night. Have 13 showings today, expecting more and more multiple offers. We expect it'll be gone before we can get it really marketed. So the challenge is we got nothing to sell and lots of demand from people who want to buy. And so we're working our tails off trying to scrape and scrounge and call and email. Gosh, if you need to sell, now's the time. You just might have to bank a little cash and go through a little bit of heartache while we find you a new place to live. But we can do it. Give us a call. KBT Realty Group in Wilmington, North Carolina. Bye, y'all.